The Patriots win Super Bowl 49. Belichick and Brady are now made men. And that was one of the craziest Super Bowls I can remember in recent history. That had to be one of the most wildest, wackiest endings to a game. And in my lifetime, I have never seen a Super Bowl switch hands like that in a blink of an eye. Seattle had that game wrapped up. They just needed to run the ball one more time. Pete Carroll got a little fancy. And the rest is history. And it changed the course of history. Instead of back-to-back champions, Brady now has his fourth, him and Belichick. And now the question is Tom Brady the greatest quarterback of all time? Welcome back to the Best Damn Sports Blog. Here to talk about the Super Bowl that just passed between Seattle and New England, Super Bowl 49. Final score was 28-24 in favor of New England in a nail-biter for whichever team you were rooting for. And New England, after all the Deflategate, all the distractions, all the questions, the interviews Belichick had to hold, press conferences I should say, after all the distractions, New England got the job done. Tom Brady, even though he threw 2 interceptions, also had 4 touchdowns, 8 of 8 on the last drive, and broke plenty of records in the process. And I'll get to that in a minute. But I want to get back to this game because it had a lot of peaks and valleys for both teams. And when New England looked like they were going to go into the half with like a 14-10 or possibly 14-7 lead, only for their defense to allow Russell Wilson to find the new unsung hero nobody ever heard of, Chris Matthews, who is actually pretty good, a 6'5 receiver. Well, he has a lot of height, and he was abusing Kyle Arrington. Arrington couldn't do anything. He was grabbing him, everything. He still was elevating over Arrington every time he threw his way. I was surprised Wilson didn't go to him a lot more in the second half. Carroll also didn't have him in the game a lot in the second half as he did in the first, and I thought that was questionable as well. But the fact that Seattle was able to score to tie the game heading into the half, as well as getting possession in the second half, I thought New England was toast because Seattle has been a great second half team all season. They outscored their opponents usually by 10 points or more in the second half, and a lot of times they hold their opponents under 14 points. Now New England, they only allowed them to get 14 exactly. Now, that's not a big difference from 13 points, but what the difference in this game was, Seattle was not able to hit New England with the onslaught of points that they usually hit their opponents with in the second half. Outside of those 10 points Seattle scored in the third quarter to give them a 24-14 lead over the Pats, Seattle's offense was pretty much non-existent from there on. New England's defense played great. We got to give props to them. They forced Seattle to punt on 3 straight drives. And Tom Brady, he made up for his mistakes. On his 2 final drives, 2 touchdowns. Gives New England a lead, 28-24 lead. And then the infamous drive by Seattle, which as a New England fan, man, was that drive the most tumultuous position I ever was in as a New England fan. Because when Jermaine Kearse made that catch, my heart dropped and I had flashbacks of Eli Manning to Mario Manningham and Eli Manning to David Tyree. And I just wanted to drop to my knees and say, why? And this happened to be the same field 7 years prior that David Tyree had the infamous helmet catch that helped lead the Giants to victory over the Patriots that killed their perfect 19-0 season. So I was just thinking like, man, this cannot be another fugazi yet historic catch that will forever live on at the expense of the Patriots and Tom Brady and Bill Belichick's legacy. It looked as if it was deja vu. Kearse made an amazing yet fugazi catch that set up Seattle around the 10-yard line. They ended up on the 2-yard line, so you're thinking this game is over. It's about 30 seconds left. Hand it to beast mode. Game over. But no. Pete Carroll was obviously feeling himself a little bit too much. He got a little cocky and arrogant, decided, hey, let's let Russell Wilson shove it in the Patriots' face for the win. just how Tom Brady went down the field and scored a touchdown on us. So he said, you know what? Let's go to Lockett on the slant against the rookie Butler. They probably will be expecting runs, so we'll hit them with pass on second down with about 30 seconds to go in the Super Bowl. I mean, at that point, you would think trickery and nonsense would be out the window. Touchdown is first obligation by the easiest means, which would be Marshawn Lynch, beast mode. He should have been allowed to continue to beast. He had over 100 yards in the game. There is no reason to go away from Marshawn Lynch in the last 30 seconds of a game that you're trailing. When you're on the 2-yard line, what sense does it make? Unless you're going to run the ball with Russell Wilson. The run game has been Seattle's bread and butter offensively all season. And we know in adverse times, go with your gut, go with your instinct, go with your bread and butter, what you're best at. And Pete Carroll, for some odd reason, decided, I think we can catch the Patriots slipping. Let's go to the newfound hero, Chris Matthews. Russell Wilson does so, but instead creates a new legend in New England. And that would be Malcolm Butler, the cornerback who intercepted Russell Wilson in the end zone, which ended up ending the game, winning the Patriots their 4th title as a franchise, which is Brady's 4th, Belichick's 4th. Now the two, they're on a pedestal with the greatest at their positions. Tom Brady's 4 Super Bowl rings ties him with Terry Bradshaw and Joe Montana for the most in NFL history. Bill Belichick's 4 Super Bowl rings tie him for the most with Chuck Noll in NFL history. The Patriots, they have been a model of consistency for the last 15 years. They are the greatest franchise in the NFL right now. This is a dynasty that we have witnessed. 6 Super Bowl appearances in a 14-year span. The Patriots, I believe, only missed the playoffs once in this 15-year span with Tom Brady as their quarterback, and that would be the year that Matt Castle had to fill in when Brady got injured. Belichick and Brady could arguably be the best at their positions of all time. And I would be having this discussion had they lost this game. 6 appearances is nothing to sneeze at, whether it's a 3-3 record or 4-2. Pete Carroll, he takes blame in this loss. This is on him. Marshawn Lynch, you give the ball to Marshawn Lynch. I believe Brady is 3-3 right now. Belichick is 3-3 right now. And the narrative is the Patriots are cheaters and they still haven't won since Spygate. It would be deflated headlines in the paper tomorrow and everything. It's funny how this media and how one play can change everything. Because I think that one play changed the outcome of the game. The Seahawks would be champions right now had Pete Carroll decided to choose a running play instead of a passing play. That's just what I believe. As a Patriots fan, I don't care though. I'm happy. I think the Patriots deserve it. They've been to 5 Super Bowls prior to this one. This was their 6th. They deserve that 4th ring. This cements Brady as the greatest quarterback of this era. I don't care what any of you Peyton Manning fans have to say. 1 ring versus 4 rings is not even a debate in my estimation. And if you are having that debate, then you obviously have some type of bias against Tom Brady, and that's fine. But don't call yourself unbiased either. Now, as for the Seahawks, I think they're a great team. But Pete Carroll, this decision you made will forever live on. And you will always be questioned until you are able to get that 2nd ring for the Seahawks. So if you are unable to do so, this may be what you are known for most when we look back on your career.